We'll need a gurney and a hangar bay. ETA 19.
Death at the gates again. Howling my name. Come on in, old buddy. Sorry I made you wait.
Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Wolfenstein II, I Am Death Incarnate, no upgrades walkthrough. This is the second of the Venus missions. I think this is the final one as well, and you'll notice that we're now on the surface and we're being faced with the cooling mechanic, which is displayed by that interesting looking graphic at the bottom of the screen where it's stacking a blue bar below an ice flake, and then when it gets to the bottom it's going to start blinking, and that's going to tell you that you need to get into either another cooling station or inside where the atmosphere can't attack you, basically. So just in front of us there is an incredibly large robot who is not the most difficult thing to kill, but he's a very dangerous threat and you do not want to fight him for most of this situation. So what we're going to do is we're going to move directly forward, climb onto those pipes, and then we're going to wait a little bit for him to do his business, and then we're going to sneak around him and get inside. And then from there it's going to be a pretty streamlined adventure of a couple stealth sections, a couple of forced encounters, and just a really, really nice path through this level. Unfortunately, I just had a failure with the commentary, so this is the second time we're going through this, and it's always difficult when you've been talking about something and reacting and doing these commentaries and improvising them and just kind of rolling with it, and then it doesn't work or something goes wrong, and then you come back to do it again. And I'm one of those people, and I don't even know why I am, but I am, like, I like to do things once, I really like the honesty, the legitimacy, and just kind of, I like things to be what they are. I like the dominoes to lay where they fell, and that's kind of how I approach commentary. I can't guarantee that my commentaries will be the best, I can't guarantee that I'll talk about the right things, but what I can guarantee is that they're exactly what they were in that instance in time. And I like that about my channel. Some people might not like it, you might like it, I don't really know, but it's one of those things where, because it's my style and it's the way that I do this, it's the way I've kind of always done it, and it's uniquely me. So going against it I do find quite difficult. But if you push forward quickly here, you can drop into this little maintenance area before anybody bothers you, and then you can go through this crawl space, and the only people standing in your way now is a commander and another fellow, and you can kill both of them with axes. Something worth noting though here is these dudes in the yellow jumpsuits, I hit one with an axe on an unarmoured part of his body, and it didn't kill him. So if you have any issues of having to do double tomahawks, just bear in mind that that's just what this zone is. Like, do you see that? He's alive. So maybe it hit his belt, but I don't feel like it did. I feel like that occasionally these guys can be a little bit fiddly with the detection on the axe, so just be careful, because they will set an alarm off if you don't do anything about them, and if you shoot your gun, you'll set an alarm off as well, pretty much, because that's how those areas go. You'll piss people off, they'll know where you are, and the violence will commence. But apparently there is an upgrade on the pistol that silences it, because the tooltip says, shoot a nearby surface with the silenced pistol to distract enemies, which is something that I've never been able to play with because I haven't upgraded yet, so that's unfortunate, but it is good to know, right, that you can simply do that. But the paths on this mission are quite nice. However, there's one aspect where I waste a bunch of tomahawks, and I'm going to talk about that later on, because it takes 2 tomahawks to break a globe later, and I throw 4 and I only just break it because I hit the wrong thing and I kind of just got a bit spam happy. Sometimes it happens that way. But wait for that diesel soldier to move away and then move up this platform to our left. All we're going to be doing here is once again skirting the outskirts, getting where we need to go, standing up when we can so that we can cover more distance to get ahead of the patterns and get ahead of the curve. Being bold in this game is powerful. You just have to know when to be fast, when to be loud, and when not to be. Like right now, moving here aggressively is going to get me all the way over here and ahead of a bunch of people moving around. And it's just one of those things where once you know how daring and how ridiculous you can be with these paths, you lose a lot of your fear. And that's one of the things that you'll find when you first play any game, especially when it's stealth oriented or on a harder difficulty where you die as quick as you do in this game. It kind of puts you off decisive movement. It puts you on the back foot in a more defensive mentality. And that's what's wonderful about a video sequence like this, where if you're struggling with this game and you look on YouTube and you stumble on my video, which you probably won't because nobody does, but if you do, you're going to see how aggressive I'm being on the movement here, and you're going to realise that maybe you've been playing the game very slowly, maybe there's a little bit more to this, where you can be more aggressive and you can push faster and push further and get things done quicker. And especially if you're intending to go towards the Mein Leben achievement. Oh, by the way, just run past this dog. When this door shuts behind me, it will lock the dog out, so you won't have any problems. But swiftly moving forward, this is an area where you can get into some firefights because of those drones. Those drones will alert people to you. There's also one of those tin men just below me, but I know that there's going to be a diesel guy, so I'm moving as quickly as I can to get to him to get rid of him. And the easiest way, of course, is to cut his fuel line and then set him on fire. But this is an explosive move, and when you do it, the drones are going to be alerted, I think. So I pick up his rifle, and I know there's one more diesel soldier to kill, and I know that I'm currently losing heat, or losing my temperature because I'm overheating. So I quickly kill the soldier there, I take out one of the drones, I take out that drone, and then I'm going to be pushing this way. At this point, you can drop this weapon, but I'm kind of just focusing on movement and just pushing forward, and I think I get maybe shot once or twice more in the back, but for the most this is all easy. It'd be considerably better if the jumping and the mantling and the collision was better, but it's just the game, guys, you've got to put up with it. And then here we go, moving into the next stealth sequence. There is one of the maintenance guys, I throw the tomahawk at him, two guys to our left including one of those metallic dogs, and then a dude just in the area that we're going to be moving towards. So the metal dogs, I haven't really fought them yet, and you shouldn't for the most because they're a nightmare. They are incredibly quick, they do a lot of damage, they take a decent amount of hammer to go down, and when they die they explode, and the radius on the explosion is kind of nuts. So for this sequence there's two soldiers, one metallic dog, and an explosive that's placed rather fortunately for us. So I'm going to put on this grenade pistol, shoot two grenades there, let the natural grenade go off, and then wait for these guys to move forward and kill them both with a single grenade from this pistol. And I will not need that pistol ever again, so it's a good opportunity to use it, and that's exactly why I did that. So now that that's done, move forward to the elevator. I'm going to trim out the elevator journey because it's quite steep, and it really reminds me of Doom. I think this entire sequence is kind of like a love letter to, you know, the most recent id and Bethesda union with the new Doom, because it's definitely got the lighting of that planet that we were on that game. But as you move forward here, there's going to be a bunch of scientists going about their way. The path is really easy. The first guy's to your left, either execute him or hit him with a tomahawk. There's two guys over here, one to the right, that guy there, and then one to your left by the globe behind me. And I think he's moving towards us. There's me going to try and hit him. I hit the side instead. It gets me in a spot of bother, but it doesn't alert anybody, and we get to pick up the conveyer, which is kind of like a crazy portal-spitting death weapon. A little bit like a BFG. It fires a large puddle of death, and then from there the puddle splits out and hurts everybody coming towards it. I missed the first one because I'm a great gamer. And we're coming up on the most ridiculous part of the game on my first playthrough, because I thought that this shit was impossible, and then I realised you could shoot half of the people that were killing me before you even get on the conveyor belt. And I'd love to have a couple of show of hands. How many people got to this conveyor section and thought it was fucking disgusting? Because I died so fast on this conveyor. And if this was a Mein Leben run, I would have been so angry. I would have probably jumped out of my window head first into the concrete and then been hit by a bus. If I'd have been lucky, I'd have been hit by two buses, because that's how I would have felt. Because I can't imagine getting this far, playing for 6 or 7 hours, and then getting killed on a bit because it's a fucking auto-scroller that's really wonky. And it's wonky because you can't aim at certain parts because you're in animations, and the enemies can shoot you while you're doing that, and I just... Video games, why do you do this to us? We just want to enjoy you, we just want to sing your praises, and you're just hitting us with a fucking Prince Albert on the face, and you don't realise, but that piercing's quite sharp, and it hurts. So, get the cool for your suit, get the coolant in there. And then from here, if you push forward, you can drop onto this platform and trigger a bunch of spawns. You can kill the two guys that are going to be a bit of a nuisance, and then there's only really two guys to kill. The last two guys you can't do much about, other than react to them. But I'm blowing up the explosives before the enemies have spawned, which is just dumb. So there goes the first guy, there's the second guy, here's me wrestling with the garbage iron sights. And there goes the barrel. So from here, put both of your assault rifles on, dual wield them so you get 2 full magazines. And then there's going to be a guy immediately to the right when you fall off the conveyor. And then at around 11 o'clock on a clock, he's going to be up there above you, and you want to shoot him. But here we go. So we've killed the 2 other guys. Awesome. The moment you fall off the bottom of this, you want to be aiming to the right. So as you come to the bottom of this, there is a barrel and a dude. Shoot either one you think is best. Is there a barrel? I think there's a barrel. And then shoot over where your reticle goes red. You see that? If you get lucky here, you can put this guy down without having to reload. But I had to reload, and that's when this gets kind of scary. But for the most, it wasn't too bad. That section is going to catch a few people out on this difficulty, and I just hope it's not on your no-death run, because if it is, I think I'd snap the disc. I really would, because it just feels dirty. It feels like a section that's put in there to just kill you for no good reason other than because it's funny. You know, ha ha ha, you didn't see this coming, dickhead. And I'm not a fan of that. I think this is a better game than that. It's way more elegant, and for whatever reason, it robbed me there on my first playthrough. So, sprint into this room, hug the left wall, kill that dude, and then move across to our friend over here. This guy is seating, and if you hit his boots and shit, it doesn't seem to kill him so well. So make sure you throw 2. And then there's one guy just there. He's going to walk all the way around to the staircase we just passed, and that's where we're going to hit him with our beautiful axes. But I'm really curious if this game's going to get any kind of DLC, because let's face it, we live in an era right now of video games where between the microtransactions, the DLC, and all that kind of additive garbage, you're holding on to your games for 6 months to get something that's probably a little bit overpriced, that's not as good as you wanted it to be, but you were hoping it were better than it would be, and it wasn't. And that's kind of the life and the culture of gaming right now when it comes to downloadable content. So I'm wondering what they'll do with this, if they do anything at all. Because if you remember, like a year later, they released the Old Blood, where they just took the engine, they took the mechanics, and they made a super goofy, fun story. I wonder if they'll do that to this. Because, let's face it, if you spend a few years building a game, and you've got all that stuff generated, why not just go in there and have a creative, fun romp, and just break all the things you established, and do some goofy, stupid shit that you couldn't fit into the game? And then sell it for a budget price and make twice the money off of your original creation. I think that's a good way of doing it. And a lot of people have been doing it recently. Uncharted didn't it, with that expansion. The Dishonored's done it twice now. It did the Dowd one, and then it did the most recent one where you played as Billy. So there's been a whole host of examples of these, and it reminds me of back in the day with the expansion packs. Because before we had DLC, we had expansion packs, which were essentially just kind of mods of the existing engine and tools to create some kind of sub-story that wasn't the same length, usually was about the same quality, but not, the same production quality, and you had yourself another 3 to 4 hour campaign of something interesting using the, all the hard work that they'd put into the original thing. And I don't mind that at all, as long as it's well priced and it's worth it. Because it's so easy to fuck it up. There's the commander. See you later, buddy. I wonder if that would have been the achievement if I was playing on the consoles. Because you've got to do one that's like 30 feet, right? I don't think that was 30 feet. I think 30 feet's quite far. But you can stand up now, there's nobody left. Go on and hit the button, and once again, the button's going to transition because I've trimmed it out. And here's where, if you throw 2 axes, you can break the globe, but mine bounced off the tellies. And then this is just a gamble, this, guys. Make sure that nobody's looking at you, and run.